$66 million in one night at the casino and wasn't even bothered about it.
66 mil.
Certain media outlets have said that he...
Downfall of Asia's biggest drug... Oh my god, what the fuck? I can't even speak, bro. Downfall of Asia's biggest drug lord worth 17 billion.
His syndicate is enormously wealthy, disciplined, and sophisticated. He allegedly made billions per year, flooding entire countries with his products.
Yeah, 17 billion is crazy.
This allowed him to live a lavish
17 billion is
life,
wild.
full of opulence and luxury. He made so much money that he once lost $66 million in one night at the casino and wasn't even bothered about it.
Wait, what?
$66 million in one night at the casino and wasn't even bothered about it.
66 mil.
Certain media outlets have said that he was a bigger player than El Chapo and Pablo Escobar. If that's all true, what was he doing alone at an airport in the Netherlands? This is the story of Tse Shi Lop. Tse Shi Lop was born in 1963 in the Chinese city of Guangzhou. Later on, Tse moved from Guangzhou to Hong Kong, where he would become part of the triad called Big Circle Boys, or the Big Circle Gang. A triad once formed by former members of the Red Guards, a paramilitary group established by Mao Zedong. The name Big Circle Gang allegedly came from a circle drawing on a map that indicated in which part of China they operated.
Ooh,
the Big Circle Boys rapidly spread across Canadian cities, and in 1988, Tse followed suit at age 25 and moved to Canada as well. He started living in Toronto, and together with the gang, he focused on bringing in large shipments of heroin into the United States.
Damn.
In October 1997, Tse Shi Lop's life took a drastic turn. He frequently travelled back to Hong Kong for business. Despite always operating under the radar, their business was growing.
I'm gonna get back to the video. That was crazy. Nigga said I'm broke, my guy. I'll hold your pockets. Yo, I'm crying.
To Hong Kong for business.
Oh my god.
Despite always operating under the radar, their business was growing so fast that they caught the eye of law enforcement in the United States.
Damn.
Tse and the rest of the gang were held responsible for the flood of heroin into the country. The authorities in Hong Kong arrested Tse Shi Lop, as per request of the United States, and immediately extradited him. Tse was accused of large-scale drug smuggling in the United States, and all signs pointed towards him getting a life sentence. But then, totally unexpected, he managed to get sentenced to just...
My boy Pew with another gifted, man. Appreciate that, gang. Appreciate that, gang. Yes, Sirski.
A life sentence. But then, totally unexpected, he managed to get sentenced to just 9 years in prison. Tse had said in court that he had learned his lesson and deeply regretted his actions. He shared his future plans that he wanted to open a restaurant and stay on the right side of the law again for the rest of his life. He also went on to say that he had to take care of his elderly parents and a sick child, thus could not afford to be in jail for life, and begged for a lenient sentence.
Oh my god.
Whether he spoke the truth or not, it most definitely helped him with the sentencing. 9 years for such large drug smuggling in the United States is unheard of. If he truly regretted,
he got blessed, bro.
His actions were very questionable. After serving 9 years, Tse was released in 2006 from the federal prison in Elkton, Ohio. He returned to Canada, where he served another 4 years of supervised probation, with regular check-ins and other mandatory rules he had to follow. Tse followed all the rules and seemed to be on the right path again. A year after he finished his supervised probation, Tse registered a new company in Hong Kong under his wife's name in 2011. The company was named China Peace Investment Group Company Limited.
I like that name.
The China Peace Investment Group was supposed to be a group of investors who would invest their funds into real estate, the financial markets, and more mainly Hong Kong.
He's thinking.
However, the American DEA discovered something completely different. The company was nothing more than a cover-up. They had discovered that Tse was involved in smuggling again, and interestingly enough, he did not pick up where he left off in 1997. He became much bigger than before. So much for learning.
He did 9 years and he came back and came on better timing.
In 1997, he became much bigger than before. So much for learning his lesson. Tse became the head of his own syndicates and managed to create an alliance with several other different Chinese triads, such as the 14K, Wung Xingwu, and Sun Yi-on. All these triads essentially worked for Tse. His syndicate stood at the top of it all. It is said that he even managed to reconcile between notorious rival triads, showing them that working together would be more beneficial than staying each other's enemies. Tsay's organization became known as the Sam Gore Syndicate, or the Company. Tsay knew that operating in absolute silence was the best. Feuds led to unwanted attention, and attention was bad for business.
Basically.
He made them realize that the pie was big enough for everyone to make a lot of money, and he was not wrong. Tsay's organization sold heroin and ketamine by the masses, although his real moneymaker had always been the highly addictive drug meth. His preferred method of smuggling was always between packets of tea. Part of him becoming such a big
I like that
player was his professional business model. Tsay's production line might be a prime example of how to produce high-quality drugs on a large scale. Hidden in the valley of Myanmar's Shan state, in the heart of Southeast Asia's Golden Triangle, the syndicates produced high-quality amphetamine in so-called super labs. Perfectly set up labs that ensured maximum efficiency to produce as fast and as much as possible. Another compelling fact about his business model is that he guaranteed free replacements at no extra cost or deposits. If one of his deliveries was intercepted by police, customs, or if a shipment had gotten stolen with proof, this offer was irresistible and brought in a lot of buyers. Though this policy would also bring him in trouble, it put him on the radar of the police without having a clue. Tsay was flooding the Australian market with his drugs. In 2011, Australian police officers arrested a group of Australians importing heroin and meth into the country. It was only a small bust, so police decided not to arrest them and instead put them under surveillance, tapping their phones.
Ooh, they do it, yo, they just, oh my god. They tapped into the low niggas to get the big fish.
And tracking their moves, in the hopes of finding clues that led them higher up the ladder. The group's shipments kept getting intercepted, which led to them constantly asking for replacement shipments from the syndicate. Even though the policy was still in place, the syndicate got fed up with this group, as many other Australian shipments went fine. In 2013, the leader of the Australian group was summoned to Hong Kong to explain himself. Australian police informed their Hong Kong counterparts of this man who they were observing. Hong Kong police took over the surveillance and spotted the man meeting up with none other than Tsay Chih-lop himself.
God. Oh no, they got this.
This put him immediately on the radar of Hong Kong authorities. Why did he meet with an Australian drug smuggler?
Keegan.
They started observing Tsay and saw he was a big spender, living in luxury, moving with an army of personal security often made up of at least 8 professional Thai kickboxers who were often rotated as part of his safety protocol. It is important to note that at this point, Tsay Chih-lop was totally unknown to them, and Hong Kong authorities did not know about the magnitude of his business. He would go on to host lavish birthday parties each year at expensive resorts and 5-star hotels.
Of course, the nigga got 17 billion. Of course he gonna do that.
Flying his family and entourage over in private jets.
Of
He once
course.
brought his family and entire entourage over to Thailand for a full month in a luxury resort.
Damn.
Tsay could always be seen working though, often on his phone texting and calling, giving orders. If there's anything that Tsay loved more than living in luxury, it was gambling. You've probably heard of the term high roller before. Tsay Chih-lop was the true definition of a high roller. He would frequently go on gambling sprees.
Nah, I appreciate you, Gabe, bro. Now we have different places, bro. You feel me? Shit, man. Y'all gotta stop beefing, though. Ain't no need to beef, man.
Where he
I
would
went to
not
strip
be
club every
betting
night,
thousands
yeah.
or tens of thousands for that matter.
That's crazy.
Tsay betted millions upon millions.
Yo, millions in a
An
casino is
investigator
crazy.
said that he observed Tsay losing $66 million in one night on the tables in Macau.
Bro, losing 66 million, bro, is so crazy.
$66
All
million
those trolls.
in one night. Can you imagine that? If one is capable
yeah,
of losing
yeah.
66 million in a night and not be
In
too
a
bothered,
night.
there's plenty of
In a
reason for
night.
more investigation. Who was this man? And how did he become so rich? Investigators doubled down and were determined to find out who exactly this ultra-rich mystery man was. After many more observations, police suspected Tsay Chih-lop of being a major trafficker of meth and heroin, as well as ecstasy into the United States and Australia, among other countries. Though they still had yet to realize the entire scope of his organization. In the morning of the 15th of November 2016, Kai Jeng Zay was on his way back home to Taiwan. While walking through the Myanmar airport, Kai seemed nervous, alert, and kept picking at his blistered hands.
Oh my god, you are, bro. Why are you doing that? You're doing a lot, bro.
His entire demeanor aroused suspicion. It led to Kai being stopped and searched. Police found 80 grams of ketamine on him, taped to his thighs. His hands were bad because he had been handling drugs. These drugs are very toxic
Bro,
and official.
oh my god, this nigga fucking scratching. Imagine you see a nigga in the airport just scratching. Of course they gonna go after you, bro.
Despite
Nigga
being
nervous and
tipped by the
shit.
DEA about Kai, airport police
facts.
said they were lucky to catch Kai. He basically snitched on himself by being so nervous. Kai refused to speak, and police decided to go through his phone. On his phone, they found a video of a crying man that was tied up, surrounded by 3 members of a triad who did some unfriendly things to him, so to say.
Whoa.
The man in question allegedly threw 300 kilos of meth overboard from a boat because he thought a law enforcement boat was nearing in. The video was sent to people like Kai as a reminder not to play stupid games or be disloyal. Kai did not have just one phone in his possession though, he had another one. This phone would be called an Aladdin's Cave of Intel by a police commander. The phone had incredible amounts of photos, videos, logs of phone conversations, and thousands of texts related to drug smuggling.
God.
After puzzling a lot of the content together, it led police to an address in Yangon in Myanmar. An address where a company packaged loose leaf Chinese tea. Remember how Tsei's syndicate preferred to smuggle their drugs? 2 days after Kai's arrest, Myanmar police decided to raid the address. They hit the jackpot. They found 622 kilograms of
622
ketamine
kilograms.
and 1,100 kilos
One
of
nigga took
crystal
down.
meth,
One
among
nigga took down the whole.
other
my
drugs.
God.
Kai was confronted with the news, yet still did not dare to speak. Meanwhile, police were still going through his phone meticulously. While looking through the pictures on his phone, an investigator suddenly jumped up. He noticed a familiar face in a picture. It was Tsei Shilop. He recognized his face after being involved in the observation of Tsei back in 2013. Kai's phone was later shared with law enforcement agencies all over the world, where Tsei might have smuggled his drugs to. Australian, Chinese, Japanese, and New Zealand police forces all took their turns on inspecting the content. They were able to tie large shipments to one group, the one Kai was working for. Prior to this revelation, they thought it was done by multiple groups. That wasn't the case. This was all Tsei Shilop and his enormous organization. It was dubbed as a mega syndicate by a Chinese anti-narcotics agency. Further investigation showed that the epicenter of the syndicate's production shifted from China to Shan State in Myanmar in the last few years. China provided the syndicate with easy access to important ingredients, but not the freedom to produce on a large enough scale without law enforcement interference. Myanmar did provide the syndicate this freedom to produce without being bothered by law enforcement. Guarded by rebel groups, Tsei's syndicate has the ultimate freedom to produce there. Materials and workers were picked up in high-end SUVs and brought to their facility. Everyone knew what was going on, though no one spoke on it, because
Hell no, they was getting paid. Why would they speak?
doing so would bring you in serious danger, and you would not want to go against Tsei
You
Shilop.
better get South.
The Asia-Pacific retail market for meth is estimated to be
Yo.
worth $30.3 to $61.4 billion annually, with its
Nigga, what?
3.3.
What?
The Asia-Pacific retail market for meth is estimated to be worth $30.3 to $61.4 billion annually. With its costs being relatively low, no need for an extensive labor force, and
what?
high price per kilo, the revenues were unbelievably high.
30 to 60 billion for meth annually, bro. Annually. Yo, bro.
For an extensive labor
Oh my
force and
God.
high price per kilo, the revenues were unbelievably high. It is estimated by the UN.
I know this shit's wrong, but you start hearing numbers like that, a lot of niggas change their mind, bro. Oh my God.
DC, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, that he would produce 1 kilo in his Myanmar super labs for approximately $1,800 per kilo. The average retail price per kilo
Yeah,
in
he got
Thailand
to.
would be $70,000, $300,000 in Australia, and $588,000 in Japan.
Oh my God.
In Japan, that would mean a markup for over 300 times. If Tsei lost 10 tons and just one shipment went through, he would still have made a huge profit. That's why he could offer those replacements for lost shipments so easily.
Oh.
The UNODC further estimated that Tsei's meth revenue alone was $8 billion a year in 2018, but could be as high as 18
Oh my God. Oh my God.
$15
Yeah,
billion.
facts. That's
His syndicate
fair.
would also
That's the
have
whole
a
Asian market.
40% to
But
70%
that's still a crazy number, bro. No bullshit.
share of the entire wholesale market. His syndicate would also have a 40% to 70% $18 billion. His syndicate would also have a 40% to 70% share of the entire wholesale market. The numbers are insane if you let that sink in. Experts have compared Tsei's syndicate to Latin American cartels, suggesting it was just as big or sometimes even bigger. Tsei Shilop is in the league of El Chapo or maybe Pablo Escobar, said Jeremy Douglas,
For sure.
Southeast Asia and Pacific representative for the United Nations Office on Drugs.
For sure.
The word kingpin often gets thrown around, but there is no doubt it applies here. Compared to Latin American cartels, Tsei's syndicate operates transnational. It is enormously wealthy, well-disciplined, and sophisticated. As mentioned earlier, Tsei did a very good job showing others that there was a lot of money to be made for everyone. It also supplies a bigger, more dispersed drug market and collaborates with a diverse range of local crime groups, which causes less uncontrolled outbreaks. They function like a global corporation with seamless efficiency, an anti-drugs official said. The experts also compared the personas of, for example, El Chapo or Pablo Escobar to Tsei Shilop. Where El Chapo and Pablo were very famous and extremely violent, Tsei is discreet and unknown. What do you think? Is he bigger than El Chapo or Pablo Escobar? Let me know in the comments.
What do y'all think?
I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Tsei has had some struggle.
It really only takes one person to fuck up everything, bro. Pablo was a different type of nigga, though. Pablo was, that was a different type of nigga. Right
was
there,
too.
man.
In February 2018, one of his super labs in Myanmar was raided by the police. More than 200,000 litres of chemicals were seized, as well as 10,000 kilograms of caffeine and 73,550 kilograms of sodium hydroxide,
Oh my God.
all substances needed for production. That same year, several senior members of his were arrested. In addition to these arrests, small labs that were used to experiment with new recipes were also raided. To make matters worse, the seizures of his shipments went up significantly too, while the prices of his drugs fell. But Tsei would not be Tsei if he would not come up with new ways to smuggle his drugs. He rerouted
Okay.
his deliveries and even started deploying hordes of Laotians who would carry 30 kilograms of drugs in a backpack across borders for him. However, the heat was on. Law enforcement in Australia went after Tsei and wanted to arrest him as soon as possible. They were done with him flooding their country with his drugs. For years on end, they searched. Tsei himself was aware that he was being hunted down and moved with precaution. That makes it all the more interesting that completely out of nowhere, the news broke that one of the world's biggest kingpins was arrested at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport in the Netherlands on the 22nd of January 2021. What was Tsei, indeed one of the world's biggest kingpins, doing at Schiphol Airport as a regular passenger?
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
What?
he wanted to catch a flight from Taiwan to Canada and had a layover in Amsterdam.
Oh my God, he had a layover. Oh my goodness.
Fortunately for him, he would not make it to Canada anymore. Tsei fought against being extradited
Why
to
wouldn't he take like I don't even know, like on some secretive shit on a plane or something? I don't know, something drive. I don't know, something different. Why did he do that? Why did he go to the airport? Oh my God.
Australia, but was still sent there in December 2022. Many questions arose when I read this. Why would he take this regular flights alone
Right.
with a stopover?
Probably
He should have had
just-
enough money and power to arrange a private jet, right?
Exactly.
Well, the answer to these questions, we will probably never know. After being arrested once and being let off easily, it seemed as if Tsei was ready to double down on his efforts to become a major player in the drug business. He professionalized his business and made himself billions of dollars. Out of all the possible ways of his story ending, no one probably expected it to be at Schiphol Airport in the Netherlands, while he was getting ready for his layover to Canada.
Well, damn. That video, shout out to Holland, Holland Crime Boulevard for that video. Ages El Chapo. Yeah, that was crazy. He really got caught. That's how you ended your story. You get caught at an airport. Imagine this was a movie and that was the ending. Oh my God. Oh my God. That would be the worst ending ever. No cap. That'd be the worst ending ever.